they call me the one and only. I make sure your girl is never lonely.
Mr. Spoiled King, Marilyn Diamond Ring.
Football.
What's up? This is your boy, Jodecideion, and welcome to Week 1 of the NFL season, Episode 5 of The Sport of Kings. Tonight kicks off the 2010 NFL season. And if it's anything like the opening week we had of college last week, things looking pretty good. I'm looking forward to some exciting games this weekend. Definitely tonight. So before I get started with this episode, I want to give you the format of how this series is going to go the rest of the season. Basically, each episode after this one will be a Monday morning quarterback type episode. Just go over the highlights of some of the best games from the past weekend. Then show you my progress on my fantasy league, my lineup changes, what I plan to do, how did I do. And finally, predictions of 5 of the best games of the upcoming week. Now in today's episode, I'm going to give you my predictions for the NFL season. Division winners, teams who are going to the playoffs, and then the eventual Super Bowl champion, from my point of view. Also, show you my first week lineup in my 2 fantasy leagues. And throw a couple of fantasy hints out there for any rookies who need some help. Alright, so let's get started. In the AFC, the winner of the AFC West will be, of course, the San Diego Chargers. Everybody else sucked too bad. The Raiders might be a little better, but maybe by 2 games. The Chiefs, I think they're going to go down. And then the Broncos, they might push the Chargers a little bit, but I think in the end, they won't make the playoffs. So, San Diego Chargers win the AFC West easily. Then your AFC South, hands down, it's going to be the Colts without any, effort behind it. They're going to win it easily. Probably go undefeated for a while before they eventually lose a game. Next, the AFC North, which is one of the hardest ones to try to figure out because all the teams are pretty well-rounded, pretty good. I believe the Baltimore Ravens will win that division. And then you have the AFC East, another division with, a couple of good teams. It's been the Patriots' birthright to be the champion of this division. But I think that the Jets will take it this year. That leaves 2 playoff spots going to the New England Patriots and the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they'll get that 6th spot. Not Pittsburgh, but the Cincinnati Bengals. So you have playoff spots. The Jets, Ravens, Colts, and Chargers as division champions, and then the 2 spots will go to the Patriots and the Bengals. The NFC is a lot easier to do because it's real, cut and dry over there. The good teams are good, the bad teams are bad. In the NFC West, the San Francisco 49ers will reclaim their throne as champions of that division after a long time. I believe they're going to win it. It's going to be close, but I think in the end they'll win that division. In the NFC South, the Saints will reclaim their title again, even though no one has won that division in the past 4 years, 2 years in a row. But I think they'll do it because they're by far still the better team. In the NFC North, even though Brett Favre, even though he's back, the Packers looking like they might take it. Now, the Packers still might lose to the Vikings overall in head-to-head matchups, but I think the overall record will still be better to where they'll get the division. So I'm going with the Packers. And then, of course, in the NFC East, them boys, the Cowboys win that. Hands down. Now, your playoff teams, I'm looking at, depending on what happens between Green Bay and Minnesota, if Green Bay is going to win the division, Minnesota's going to be the first playoff spot. And then the next playoff spot, I'm going to go with Atlanta. I'm liking them. I don't think anybody in the NFC East will get a playoff spot. Not the Redskins, not the Eagles, not the Giants, and everybody else pretty much sucks. So your playoff teams are the 49ers, the Saints, the Green Bay Packers, the Cowboys, followed by the Vikings, followed by the Falcons. So with those teams making the playoffs, my 4 teams in the championship games are: in the AFC Championship, you will have the Indianapolis Colts versus the Baltimore Ravens, with the Ravens winning and going to the Super Bowl. In the NFC, it's going to be old school. It's going to be retro. We have the Dallas Cowboys versus the Green Bay Packers in an old school 90s NFC Championship game. And your Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. The Cowboys versus the Ravens. I don't want to give a prediction who wins just yet. I'll keep it to myself. But that's the matchup I would love to see. Now to fantasy football. In my first league I'm in, where I'm also the returning champion, the owner of the MFS motherfucking squad. Don't get it twisted. I'm going with the lineup of Tom Brady versus the Cincinnati Bengals, Ricky Williams versus Buffalo Bills, Fred Taylor versus the Bengals, Devin Hester versus Detroit, Ocho Cinco versus those Patriots, Randy Moss, Bengals, Dallas Clark, Houston, Crosby, Philly, Minnesota's defense going against the Saints tonight. I don't really like that matchup. They might get torched. And then my overtime player is Larry Johnson. That's what I'm looking at right now. In the second league I'm in, owner of the team known as the PMFs, fat motherfuckers. I'm going with tonight Drew Brees, Jerome Harrison, Cleveland versus Tampa Bay, Ricky Williams again, Steve Smith from the Giants versus Carolina, Reggie Wayne, Houston. I have Moss again, Cincinnati, Antonio Gates, Kansas City, Jeff Reed, Pittsburgh's kicker. I'm going with Chargers defense versus Kansas City, and I'll tell you why. Donald Driver is my flex player, and then my overtime player is Chad Henne. I also have Minnesota's defense, but a fantasy tip: you don't want to start a defense against your players. I have Breeze playing Minnesota tonight. I need Breeze to go off, so I can't have him torch my defense. So never start opposing sides. You know what I'm saying? So now, here are my predictions for the top 5 matchups the first week of the NFL season. Game number 1, the Patriots versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati is coming to New England. I think Cincinnati sneaks out with a win. I think that Ocho Cinco and T.O. with Cedric just dominate the Patriots. I think it'd be a big shootout, high-scoring shootout. But in the end, I go with the Bengals with a better defense overall to get one good stop against Brady. Game 2, Atlanta goes to Pittsburgh. I know Pittsburgh doesn't have Ben starting for them. They got some rookie quarterback coming in, but I honestly think that the turbo towels are going to be swinging and waving, and that alone will get them a victory over Atlanta. Atlanta's a good team, but I think the Pittsburgh Mystique will get a win for them. Game 3, them boys at Washington. If you know the history, the Redskins always win against the Cowboys, just out of the blue. They always able to pull a victory out of their hat. And Donald McNabb is a Cowboy killer. With all that, I think the Cowboys go in there and flex their muscle and get it done. So Sunday Night Football on NBC, the Cowboys go into Redskins' home stadium and beat their tail. Game 4, one of the Monday night games. There's 2 Monday night games this week, okay? But the first one, the Baltimore Ravens going to the Jets. Man, this is like, a playoff game already. And my pick for the Super Bowl is the Baltimore Ravens. And so I think they go in and show that they're superior defense and beat the Jets. I know the Jets has Revis, but he can only cover one of their receivers. And so he's either going to cover TJ Hushmanzada or Anquan Bolden. He'd probably take Anquan. And so that leaves TJ a chance to prove he's still good. And then, Baltimore's quarterback is way better than the franchise, the Sanchez, you know what I'm saying? So Baltimore goes into the Jets and win that game. Finally, game number 5, tonight's game. Minnesota going to the Who Dat Stadium, going to the Aints. I'm just playing. The Saints. The Saints win this, man. They're already planning something big with the crowd, and you know how that place gets after Katrina. Their will is going to win that game. Brett Favre might go in and stunk it up. He might lose the game. He might throw several interceptions tonight. So the Saints win tonight. All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please come back next week on a Tuesday for episode 6. And I hope to see you the rest of the season. Good luck and enjoy yourself. This is Jodecideion. Peace.